Hey, everybody, it's Pastor Joel here, and I was just sitting here in the prayer room at the church and just studying, fellowshipping with God, reading. And this thought occurs to me. It's really easy to get into the woulda, shoulda, couldas when you're facing any kind of a big catastrophe or rough situation. I had some experience with that last year, almost exactly a year ago. I think it was March 6th of last year, where we had some frozen pipes here at the church, and we're trying to get the pipes defrosted, and they were incoming waters, the outgoing wastewater pipes that were frozen. And in the course of getting those pipes defrosted, I won't bore you with the details, but sequence of events unfolded where there's a pump on our facility that pump engaged and began to propel wastewater back into the church. And I found myself standing in an inch of wastewater in the foyer of the church. And so here I am having pretty much the worst day of my life. And I remember being in that situation and thinking, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because you don't understand, the smell was just unreal. And I'm thinking, how are we going to get this out of here? I'm just trying to get the water out of the church. And then I'm thinking, how are we going to clean this up? How do we sanitize this? What do we even do? And I realize I'm in way over my head. I have no experience, never pastored a church that had a natural disaster. My parents, my dad pastored for over 25 years when I was still working with him. And in all those years, we never saw, well, no, more than that, closer to 30 years pastoring. And in all that time, we never had a church that had a natural disaster or a fire or anything. So I had no frame of reference for what to do. And in the middle of this, I'm seeking counsel from people, but I'm having to walk through it myself because ultimately the decisions are going to, I'm the one that's going to have to make the decisions, and the board is going to have to make those decisions with me. And so I'm getting the best advice I can and trying to walk through this thing. And I recognize from the beginning, and this is what I wanted to get to, I'm recognizing things from the very beginning. I was going to make mistakes, and it bugged me. That knowing that I was going to make mistakes, I didn't want to admit it, but I had to be honest with myself. I know I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm thinking to myself, I know I'm probably making mistakes. God help me not to make mistakes. I'm trying to do the very best I can, but I knew it was unavoidable. I was going to make mistakes, and through it all, just having no frame of reference, it was a really, really challenging thing to walk through. It was a lot of weight to carry. And at one point, it looked so bad. It looked so hopeless. Well, a year later, and things are better than they've ever looked in terms of aesthetics and so forth. And so I wanted to encourage you with that, because if you look at our country, it's really easy to get sucked into, well, we should have been, and we could have done this, and we should have done this, and we should have done that. And ladies and gentlemen, there's no precedent for what is unfolding right now. And I think that it would behoove us to give some grace to our leaders in this season. Imagine that the weight was on your shoulders. Would you want everyone picking at every single decision you made? And I'm not saying I'm not. Don't take this as an endorsement for any leadership. I'm talking about our governor here in Montana. I can't imagine being in his shoes trying to walk through this. They're having to make some really, really difficult decisions, and because there's no precedent for it, there's no frame of reference. So basically, I'm going to trust that they're taking the best advice and they're walking through it the best that they can, and I'm going to choose to extend to them the grace that I would want others, and that I enjoyed when I was walking through my own natural disaster, and that people trusted I was doing the very best I could with the situation and trying to make the best decisions possible. Were mistakes made? Yeah, I made a couple. It cost us a lot of money. Not realizing at the time if I'd done this different, if I'd done that different. But you know what? At the end of the day, I can't go back and fix any of that. And really, does it really help us to sit here and pick at what we should have done and we could have done this? And well, yeah, you know what? If I could have done this and this and this and this, I'd probably be a totally different person. But that's not the game we're playing right now. the game we're playing right now is that this is where we're at. I can't go back and fix anything. The only thing I can do is live right in the present so I can change my future. So I want to give you encouragement on this because things that look so impossible can really turn around rapidly. And there is going to be a turnaround in this. And we just have to be patient, use some wisdom, and make the most of our season. I talked about that in the message this morning. Make the most of our season. There's positive things happening in our season right now. This is a great opportunity to build stronger bonds with our family that we live with. And think about this. They're going to be writing books about how we handled things in this season. There's going to be books that are written about this. Future generations are going to look at what did we do? How do we comport ourselves? How do we behave in it? And how do you want future generations to remember your conduct in this season? Because we are writing a chapter in history right now. And I think that's something that I want to keep that in the forefront of my mind as I navigate this season. So I just want to encourage you with this and give you a perspective. Trying to say is without. I don't want you to feel judgmental that I'm being judgmental toward you about things, but just give you some perspective because you troll on Facebook, man. I'm snoozing people right and left. I don't need your negativity in my life right now, and I'm thinking, dear Lord. I hope you're not that unfair with me when I got to make decisions. So let's extend the same grace that we would want others to extend to us. And let's pray for our leaders that they might be led of God because there's no manual. Hey, when we went through this is what we did. There's no manual for that right now. We're living truly in unprecedented times, and we need to support them with our prayers and maybe, not discourage them with a constant barrage of critique. You ever work on a project and you got someone standing behind you critiquing every single thing you do, and you want to just kind of turn around and say, okay, you seem to know more about this, how about you do it? Man, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on the people that are leading us here on the Blackfeet Reservation, in Glacier County, in Montana, or the United States for that matter. So just want to kind of give you a pastor's perspective on that. Hopefully that helps you out. God bless you. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.